Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Saturday Three-Man Weave Best Bets show here live on YouTube, sponsored by Basket Under Review, our loyal favorite college basketball site on the internet. I'm your host this week, Jim Root, joined by Kai McEwen and Maddie Cox. It is Spinny Saturday, and I forgot to bring my hat with me to an out-of-town away game show presentation here. But fortunately, my boys, my wingmen, have both got their hats on. Fellas, we actually had a couple decent games on Friday night. We've obviously got an incredible Saturday slate here. We're gonna get through that as much as we can shortly. Maddie, did you take anything away last night? I'm gonna just put in a plug for one Darren Peterson, who can score like he breathes. My God, Kansas has got a little bit of upside. You see anything else, Matthias?
No, Kansas is back. I'm considering. I'm putting them in the pantheon of the Big 12. Fully on board with this version, assuming knocking on wood, no more Peterson hammy tweaks. But yeah, that team's real. I mean, Baylor I still think is a little bit fraudulent, but I think just the carryover of the Iowa State performance, who has a huge game today, Kai. We'll see if they get off the mat against Cincinnati. But yeah, KU real into it, undervalued. Some might say, sharps might say. I'm not one of them. I'm a square.
Yeah,
Spinny,
yeah,
actually.
spinny. We all are spinnies. Well, except Jim today. Jim's not a spinny. He's a sharp. Jim, I just have one thing to add. Marquette is awful. They're awful.
Yeah, you
They
can't lose a half by 20 to DePaul.
no, they're up by 8.5, 16-0 to start the second half for DePaul, and it was all downhill from there. Almost came back for a little cover action, but they decided not to. Marquette, get out of here. Get out of
Get
here.
out of here. Get in the
Last
garbage.
place.
DePaul basketball, their first three-game home winning streak in league play since 2007.
That is absolutely crazy.
That is insane. I don't even know how that's true. But hey, congratulations to Chris Holtman, to Layden Blocker, to NJ Benson, to CJ Gunn, the fellas that stuck around and made it
They
happen.
were up at Nova too, like played with UConn competitively. I mean, they've just kind of nice little ball club out there, up there,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
over there. Yeah.
I can't believe they lost to LSU by 1,000 in a game where I bet on DePaul. So
Yeah, that was
yeah.
years ago. Yeah.
All right, let's get into the outline, fellas, because there are some fantastic headliners. Kai, I agree with the shade from the Kelling time in the chat. No Miami Clemson on the outline. Poor,
Sorry.
poor ACC. Two undefeated teams in the league,
Yeah, that's my
not quite making it. But hey, we'll talk about them in the chat mob section. Don't you worry, folks. It will get discussed. But we're going to start with the big one in SEC country. Florida headed to Vanderbilt. Matt, I'm just going to come right out and say it. Florida, best bet for me, +2 on the road. This is going to be against the spot crowd with Florida riding super high right now. Vandy in the buy low spot back home after a loss at Texas. But I just love the matchup here for the bigs of Florida. Vandy got completely punked in the paint by Makas Vokietitis for Texas. They got destroyed on the glass, and now they face the best two-way rebounding team in the country. Boogie Fland is playing like actual good basketball. So you get a little bit of guard play. A little bit worried about Florida's turnovers against the Vandy pressure, and that can really flip the game and get the Commodores some easy points. But Matthew, I'm laying it out right here. First game of the day, Gators +2, best bet.
Yeah, that's kind of what makes Florida's, at least on paper, their backcourt coming into the year, which I know we've thrown a lot of shade at this year. But like the one thing that we knew coming in is that they're good. They take care of the ball, but they haven't seen this type of pressure. I think if they can, prevent Vandy from getting some pick sixes, at least get it, get some shots up, whether they're going to go in or not, whether Xavier Lee goes 2 for 20, at least get shots up on the rim
well.
and let your size go to work for you on the glass. Obviously, if you're making shots, you should be in business, but possession, possession, possession. Mark Byington usually wins that war. The Florida guards, including your boy, Klausar, got to hang
Hey,
on the ball late.
not my boy. Not my
Played
boy.
better recently.
You
Better.
know, you know who I kind of like though? I like Isaiah Brown. I like
I
that he's
love
getting
Isaiah
more minutes.
Brown.
He's useful. He's useful
He's
in that he doesn't make mistakes. When he's on the floor instead of Xavier Lee, I'm happy as a Florida backer. Lee's been frankly just terrible. Sometimes they need his creation. Lately, it just hasn't worked out, and Flan's been very, very good. Florida's won 3 straight games by 15 plus since that Mizzou loss. They look very, 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 very good. Jim was right. Texas punked Vanderbilt in the glass. I think Florida can do the same thing. Vandy's awesome, though. They have the better guards. Tanner's legit. But I think they're going to find a challenge to find clean looks against the analytical Gators. Todd Golden knows what a three-pointer is. He's going to try to take it away, and they have no issue guarding in the paint with their size and their depth. I lean Florida as well, Jim, and I support your best bet.
Smart man. Way to lean with me, Kai. Lean with me, rock with me. Fire up Florida. Yeah, if they can avoid turnovers, I think they've just had to put so much playmaking in the hands of their bigs, and the bigs have been a little sloppy with it.
Yeah, the
But
turnovers
man,
have been bigs. You're right. That's where
yeah,
they've been slow.
Chinyalu has been on a freaking tear
Yeah.
lately, and good luck to Vandy dealing with him inside. I think Jordan Majeski wrote up in the Basket Under Review weekend watch list plug, check that out, that Vandy really struggled to score inside against Texas for like the first time all year, and I think they might struggle again here against that immense size of the Gators. All right, let's go down to Lubbock, a massive one in the Big 12. The Big 12 schedule makers did the public and the fans no favors by backloading the schedules of this league. But we do get a headliner here with BYU headed to Texas Tech. Kai, remember Lubbock sneaky and elevation home site here, but BYU obviously familiar with that. Texas Tech -3 right now. They still have no Bam Goy. They still have no Mosley yet to debut this year. So a thin rotation, but a high total, 162.5. What do you think on this one?
Yeah, big game. BYU hasn't lost since November 15th, partially because of that backloaded schedule. They haven't played anybody yet in the Big 12 for 4-0. Reminder, Texas Tech beat BYU at BYU last year before the Cougars kind of got rolling and went on that big winning streak to end the season. I think Tech can go toe-to-toe with BYU on the glass. That's what they've been really succeeding at in Big 12 play against those kind of pillowcakes, pillows,
Pillowcakes. I like that.
pillow tops. What am I trying to say?
Cupcakes. I think you're trying to say cupcakes or
And
pillows.
and
Go
pillows.
cream puffs.
Pillow fights and cupcakes, pillowcakes. Inside. Toppin, I'll take him over Keto all day. But I'm worried about BYU, Matt. They have so many weapons. They have too many weapons, more than Texas Tech. DeBansa, clearly, he has no equal on Texas Tech. Anderson versus Wright is going to be fireworks. I'm very excited to watch that game or that matchup. And then Saunders, of course, icing on the cake. Haha, pillowcakes. I am worried about Texas Tech's ability to get stops, and they can force turnovers, and that's a huge problem. That's preventing me from laying it in what I think is a pretty good spot for the Raiders.
I agree. I'm just looking at last Saturday. The only other game where BYU actually went on the road. So they played at Utah, and now they're going to go to another altitude spot here at Lubbock. They were not very good defensively against Utah in that game. That's my only question with BYU in this one. It's kind of why I sort of lean your guys' way with Texas Tech. I think BYU can sometimes
I'm not
get a little bit
Texas.
leaky. What?
I'm not on Texas Tech.
I thought you, but only
hesitant.
I'm hesitant. Okay. But I think I agree with you. I lean that way, and it's because of BYU's. As you peel back the layers, some of their defensive, there's some leaks there, Jim. I think Tech can exploit with the newfound 5.5 man rotation they've kind of gone with.
Yeah, Brian actually in the rotation playing 15 minutes a game. Nice for them to have a 6 man that's competent with that incredible starting lineup they have. I have a little bit of concern here. BYU's defense has been a lot better than expected this year. Shout out to Will Voigt, their defensive coordinator that mixes in zones, but I don't think you can mix in zones against Texas Tech. They're shooting the offensive glass work with Toppin. That's a really tough thing to do here. Maybe as a wrinkle every once in a while. But I don't know. For some reason, I'm getting a gut on BYU that they're going to wear down Texas Tech a little bit. But that's why I'm going to stay away. So no take for me on that game. I already put my stake on the line with Florida Vandy, so we'll skip that one. All right, back to SEC territory. Georgia hosting Arkansas with a sky high total, Kai, 182. Both these teams love to get up and down. You've seen overtimes with some of these Georgia games as well. That's always an option. Georgia, the home favorite of -2. Tell you what, I lean pretty hard the other way. Razorbacks standing up. I think Georgia is coming back to earth right now.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm being a stickler on my price. I want +3 for the Razorbacks. Give it to me. Come on, market. And I'm not sure it's going to get there. 2.5 maybe. Track meet, like you said, total over 180. Both teams among the nation's leaders in transition rate and transition points per possession. Per synergy, they love to run, and they're good at it. I just think Arkansas is better. Excellent guard game both ways here, but the Hogs are better shooters. They're better playmakers. You have to keep Cyril off the glass for Arkansas because he's an absolute beast for Georgia. But if he's in foul trouble, that takes away the anchor in the paint that kind of prevents Arkansas's dribble creation, which is what they rely on in the half court. Again, I want +3 Matthew at Arkansas. I hope it gets there. I'd be a buyer. I would take this as a bet. +2.5, I'm leaning their way. +2, I'm probably going to say, no thank you. I'm being very picky today.
I did bet Arkansas. I am a little worried because they've, away from home. They've not been away from home a ton this year, but they got blown out by what was the game? I think I got blown. I guess they got beat by Mississippi, and we've sort of on the side of like, this Ole Miss team's not very good. And they've really been their best at home. I mean, I know they went into Michigan State and competed way back when, but I think I need to reassess my Georgia thing. I sort of was like hey guys, Georgia's real. I went on my soapbox, I think, on our podcast and said that they haven't really played a good game since like December. And you look at even who they beat in the non-conference, like Cincinnati, and they were down most of that game and to come way back to win. Great, Xavier, terrific. Um, yeah, I like Arkansas here. I think if again you have a guard that you trust on the road in A cuff, holds on to the ball, gets shots up on the rim, similar to the Florida recipe, let your bigs go to work up front. So I like Pick Suey here, Jim. I trust him, shockingly.
Yeah, I've been kind of beating the drum of Arkansas at home is where I want to back them, but I just am not a huge believer in Georgia still at this point. I think the reliance on Cannon catchings and those lineups where they're not quite as big makes them very prone to, as Kai noted, the Cyril foul trouble when he's not out there. I think they're a different team. And Arkansas has just got a bunch of men. Like they're a get off the bus type of team. And Georgia typically has that edge. And last year that was their identity, just dominating with size. And it's really more Cyril and guards this year. So I'm gonna lean towards Arkansas. Not gonna back them. I did then make them like a half point favorite here, so I probably should take them as getting points in the road, wrong team favorite in my opinion. But I'm not gonna. I got plenty of best bets, so not gonna rack up double digits of them here. All right, an early tip in the ACC. Virginia headed to SMU. Matthew, I wrote this game up for the Action Network and ended up settling on the over. I think both teams have real routes to points here. The mid-range against drop coverage, that's where SMU's been dominant. They torched UNC playing that way. But then Virginia's size on the offensive glass and their shooting, the way they can spread the floor, I think that's going to be a really tough thing for SMU to handle, who's pretty small at the 4 spot. Tice DeRitter probably has a pretty big game here. I also lean towards Virginia on the road, Matthias. They've been good already. They won at
Terrific.
NC State. They won at Louisville. That style
Texas.
seems to travel. Yeah, what romped at Texas, something Vandy couldn't do. What do you think here? Does SMU continue rolling on the magic carpet ride they are after that Boopy Miller half court shot, or is it Virginia on the road?
No, I like Virginia too. Got the extra day off. Everyone's back here. We'll see what Jakari White brings. I thought he was supposed to, I thought he'd have like a bigger impact last game against Louisville. They didn't really need him though. They won more with defense, and you could argue that he's not a great defender. So they have options
No.
with their lineup usage of him. I think he can be like a change the game with a hot streak of flurry of threes, but then you don't have to play them. They're so deep at basically every position. I like Virginia here. I know Boopy back, and SMU's been I think better than people have realized. Their freshman bigs have been pretty good. They got some size, but I think Virginia's just a better team. I think you're right, Jim. The way they play, their road proven warriors. I like the Who's, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, who's keep on winning? They're up to 14 in Kempom after Louisville win. They're top 20 on both ends of the floor. Odom's just a great coach. He builds a roster too that fits together. This team really gels, kind of like the good Marquette teams of years past. I feel like they have a ton of weapons, no obvious stars, although it appears Mallory's kind of ascending into a pro despite his stature. Like you guys said, SMU off that dramatic half court win against Virginia Tech that kept him in the tourney picture. I'm not sure they can do it again against a really good Virginia team. I love Boopy Miller. I love the Ponies guard dynamism. But I just think Virginia is firing on all cylinders right now. So I lean towards Virginia as well as a short favorite.
Yeah, I mentioned the mid-range game for SMU. I think that's huge because Virginia takes away the rim completely. Number one in the ACC in 2-point percentage defense. Number three in average 2-point distance allowed. You just don't go in there against Grunlow, against Onyenso. They've always got a sheriff at the rim keeping you away. And they're, the number one in block rate in the ACC, number two nationally. Like it's just so hard to score inside. So you got to knock down those midi jumpers. And Virginia just kind of wins the math game by
Yeah.
getting a lot of possessions and taking more threes than you. And they can really stroke it from deep. So I lean towards Virginia as well with the way their style has traveled on the road thus far.
They're taking a little
Let's get
money
it.
now, Jim, by the way. Up to 2.5 in some places.
Yeah,
2.5.
let's get Enfield back in the Enfield zone. He's a little over his
Yeah.
skis right now, 9 spots ahead of it right now, from that 45 to 55. All right, let's go to our first chat mob break here. But first of all, I want to give a shout out to Basket Under Review, our sponsor here, the place that we are always talking ball every single day of every single week. Would love people to jump in there. I mentioned the weekend watch list. There's unbelievable amounts of write-ups from Will Warren Jordan Majeski, myself, Matthew Winnick. I think Tuck Clary has helped. Brian Roth has helped in the past. Lucas Harkins. All kinds of people jumping in to write up every single big game from the weekend, both Saturday and Sunday. There's also Scout Team with Eric Fawcett and Kevin Sweeney. There's great write-ups rounding up the SEC, the HBCUs, just great weekly features to go with some guest pieces. I think the Ibuka Okori article continues to go viral from November when we were early on that with his Stanford breakout. So make sure to join Basket Under Review. Check out the podcast. We got Stats by Will and Jim with me. And then, of course, the Burp Basket Under Review podcast with Eamon Brennan and Tate Frazier. All right, fellas, let's talk chat mob.
Well, of course, we got to get our guy Zhang in here early and often. Kyle, go to you. Up to
Yes.
17 is this number now. NC State, 2 touchdowns and a field goal over Georgia Tech and the Damon Stoudemire's, who are historically better as a dog. Just to ask Duke about that. I think it's a lot of points. But yeah, they're always dog. But even when they're good as a dog, he has been better. Kind of has like that Cooley Shaka thing. I think if you look at the splits, that will prove that. I don't know. I stayed away here. Money obviously loves the pack at home.
I'm on the over in this game. I think it's going to be a ton of points.
154.5.
Yep.
Hasn't budged.
Georgia Tech's playing fastest offensive pace in the ACC, sneakily.
Yes, very, very fast.
I like that guy.
Yeah, a lot of points.
Very odd. I think because I would thought with Washington, they went a little slower, but not the case. You're right. Let's get to Miami Clemson. People berated us for not including the outline, Jim. Plus 4.5. Clemson laying it at home against the Canes. I am on the Canes. Your thoughts?
Are you now?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like them. I think the
Yeah,
defense.
I know we talk a lot about how Clemson style travels, and we like them on the road, getting extra points. But man, Little John's a tough place to play, and Miami has not really been overly tested. They played 2 teams in the top 50. They lost by double digits to both of them. That isn't like an overly telling story because BYU and Florida are really good, but Clemson's also rock solid too. The only true road games Miami's played, Wake, Notre Dame, Mississippi, won them, but I'm not overly sold on any of those teams either. I would probably lean towards Clemson, Matthew, but I also kind of like the under. I think this game stagnates. Miami's been able to run up and down. They've done that especially against mid-major opponents, but against Clemson's defense that takes away transition, I think this slows down a little bit. And you see that Miami defense that we've talked about a lot rise up compared to their offense.
I agree. 144. It's funny. Miami's games have been kind of high scoring, oddly enough. Like I sort of thought they'd be a little grittier. As Lucas,
they love
said
to run, man.
But they do like to push, yeah. And they got athletes. I think Miami's athletes will kind of separate them in this game. That's my prediction. Kai, how about Duke Stanford?
Stanford.
The Cardinal. I don't know how hard they partied in Palo Alto after the UNC went, but Duke comes to town. A par has been confirmed out. He did not play against UNC, so maybe they're better without him. Probably not the case. But when you have Ibuka just going bananas, probably doesn't matter. What's the number? I need to get the number. I'm sorry.
It's 11. It's 11 for Duke. I don't know, it feels a little bit high. Duke's obviously not. Duke's already there. They just played in Berkeley, California. But I think it's a pretty big number for a team I really respect and a coach I definitely respect in Stanford. Lean their way slightly. Nothing strong.
Yeah, lean Stanford too.
A lot of Duke money there. Ted Spencer, any thoughts on St. Thomas, North Dakota State? Jim, do you want to be a Summit guy or just kind of a more profound take on this one?
I thought about going Tommy's as a best bet. This team is just
-3 North Dakota State. So yeah, Tommy's getting 3. I feel like I agree with you.
it's been moving that way or towards North Dakota State. I think I saw 1.5 earlier this morning. So up to 3. I'll take the full field goal. Again, not quite a best bet for the show because I've got plenty, but I'm really impressed by this team. They got a big game from my guy Janowski, graduate of the same high school as Milan Momcilovic and J.J. Watt in my high school conference. He's really trending up. 3 Ken Pom game MVPs in 4 Summit League games. He's a monster, and that's with Minnesali out there, Bierke out there. I just think they're a little better. And North Dakota State's been kind of trying to figure out what their best lineup is a little bit. They've been changing starting lineups recently. So give me St. Thomas there, Matt.
Kai, how about Ohio State laying 5 to UCLA, who is a little bit shorthanded, as they have been for a while now. Sky Clark, I believe, doubtful and now confirmed out.
Yeah.
Bilodeau had the flu last game. Didn't matter. He was awesome. But that was Penn State. Ohio State's a better operation. What do you like here?
For the second straight game, my number has told me UCLA, and I ignored it again. I should not have ignored it against Penn State. They covered easily, although it was kind of dicey during the game. It wasn't actually an 11-point game. I stayed away because of the injury, Matt, because of the illness for Bilodeau. So nothing for me. Would still lean their way, +5. You're telling me which way to go because I again, my number points that way. I just really get spooked with the injury stuff with UCLA.
You guys aren't worried about Puff Johnson coming in for Ohio
Yeah, is he
State?
playing today? What's the
I
deal with
was
that?
I was going to tweet this, Jim.
I
Puff
don't care.
Johnson means absolutely nothing to me on
Nope.
this team. He moves the needle 0
Yep.
for
Zilch.
Ohio State.
Prod Bailey asking, why does Richmond +15 look free? I mean,
Ooh,
they're playing SLU.
there's a free
Nothing,
bet out there.
Yeah,
there's nothing against
I-
SLU is free. Actually,
I don't
SLU
think
has been
anything
free
against SLU.
this year. I agree
Yeah.
it's a high number, but I'd say good luck to you fading SLU in any circumstance.
Yeah, Trey Green might not play. He missed last game. He's a kind of big time shot maker, but one of the major strengths of SLU is depth this year. So they've actually been okay without him.
Yeah, maybe a Deion Brown game. Kai, how about Arkansas State Troy? Our guy Scott Cross against our guy Ryan Pannone, two good coaches. These two teams just played, correct? Sunbelt does this thing where they kind of cluster the conference. So you get some quick revenge rematch spots. Marshall
Yeah, I played
and last week I think.
10
Sorry,
days
check me
ago,
on that.
Arkansas State won by 12 at home. I made this Troy 3. It's Troy 3, so I have no opinion one way or the other. Nothing really sticks out from that game except that Arkansas State shot the lights out, and also shot 30 free throws to Troy's nothing. Maybe it's a friendlier whistle in Troy this time. Stay away from it.
I lean Troy a little bit with the revenge angle and second straight road game in 48 hours for Arkansas State. They're coming off the OT loss at South Bama, whereas Troy's been home kind of stewing for this one. Had an easier game on Thursday. So lean Troy.
A lot of over money there, and I agree. I mean, Arkansas State's a Alabama light thing, and then Troy is just going crazy this year. There's no stopping their pace. How about Utah State Grand Canyon? Kai, go to you for this one. Number is currently 5.
Yep.
Do the Havocs give the Aggies any trouble?
I hope so,
in
Matt.
Phoenix?
I took a little +6 on Grand Canyon, and I am nervous about it. Number one, because I think Utah State is awesome. And I saw Grand Canyon just get the doors beat off them by somebody. I forgot. Mountain West. New Mexico?
New Mexico, I believe.
Somebody
right?
just crushed
yeah.
them. Nevertheless, I believe in this home court. Hey, Jim's been there. He can tell you how great it is. And
good.
I took a little +6. I think Utah State's a better team. I think they have some real advantages in this game, but I'm going with the Lopes at home.
Utah State's surprising stat on them, 359th in consistency per Haslametrics. They've actually been weirdly up and down. I think because sometimes they win by 35 and you're like, oh my God. And then sometimes they're just mortal. So hopefully get the mortal version today.
Mortal.
Why is this game at 11:30 local? Is that a disadvantage to Utah State?
I don't know.
Weird.
I don't know.
1:30 our time zone guy. Last one from the Zang. Texas versus Texas A&M. Jim, does Texas keep it rolling? They're laying 5.5, I believe, to the Buckyballs.
Steam
Coming in.
I will prefer Texas A&M here, who has been shockingly feisty lately. They don't need Mackenzie and Baco. They almost won at Tennessee. I think this team's actually kind of solid, even though we expected high volatility. I think you get a much less focused Texas team here. After the last 2 efforts they've had, perhaps that's over-indexing on it, but I think maybe a Traymon Mark lays an egg type of game, and I'll take 5.5 points with the Aggies.
Yeah, I lean Aggies too. I think it's a good matchup. Texas doesn't have. I mean, I know Boca Titus is big, but he doesn't. Let him get his. Take care of everybody else. You'll be fine. Back to the outline. We got a few more rolling in here, but I will holster them for part books.
All right. Start with another game I considered as a potential best bet, Kai. We had some success with St. John's on the road last Saturday, backing them. Now they go to Villanova and the ultimate, who is the second best team in this conference behind old UConn. St. John's 2.5-point favorite on the road. I wrote this one up for the weekend watch list.
Yeah.
I like that St. John's is playing the correct starting lineup. They're playing Hopkins, Mitchell, and Zuby together. They cannot be stopped on the offensive glass. That combination is lethal per CBB Analytics, 41% offensive rebound rate. But they're also not turning it over when those guys play together. So they get shots up and they chase down those shots. I think Duke Brennan's going to be a little overwhelmed. As good as he is as a defensive rebounder,
Yes.
I think I like St. John's and the current trajectory of that team.
I do think it'll be a bloodbath inside, led by Zuby and on the glass. It's at the Sixers' place, right? So it's not in Villanova's on-campus arena, which sucks. For real. I don't know why do that. Why do that? Play all your games on campus. I don't get it. Johnny's taking money, and I agree. I think Nova's a tad overrated still, Matthew. I don't think they're a top 30 team. And I think St. John still has plenty of room to grow in terms of analytics and power rating. I think they can get right back to where they were as a top 10 team eventually. I think their pressure really bothers Caden Lewis and Devin Askew. So I do have a St. John's lean here at -1.5 to 2.5.
I did bet St. John's. I think Villanova is very good. I think St. John's is very, very, very good. That's my expert analysis right there. And I think the matchup you mentioned, Kai, is notable. Maybe we should stop. I'm not like doubting a Caden Lewis, but this is a test for him. What he'll see today. And they got other good. I mean, they got other good guards there, but the key is going to be up front. Duke Brennan, the whistle probably big. He's got to stay out of foul trouble. He's been in foul trouble a couple games this year. I just don't know if they have a second and third body to keep the Johnnies off the glass, or to get their own on the offensive glass, which has kind of been a big possession edge for them this year. So I like the Johnnies, Shem. And the fact that it's not at the Pavilion makes me feel like it could be, doesn't get that same home court value that you would get in a true home.
Yeah, there's a part of me that's worried, like St. John's backer, where they're going to have some dumb offensive possessions and Villanova just makes the right play, like gets good shots, moves the ball, and you're like, I wish I'd bet on the team that shockingly feels better coached at times. But I still think Patino will have the guys ready to play. They've got a little more talent. The size, I think, overwhelms on the glass, and that edge ends up playing out for the Red Storm. Okay, let's go to Matt, the home of the best football team in the college football world, Indiana, the Bloomington Hoosiers, two former Drake coaches meeting here, Ben McCollum, and Iowa headed to Darren DeVries and Indiana. Matt, I kind of lean towards Iowa, who gave Purdue
I do too.
everything it could handle at Mackey. Indiana has not really inspired lately. What do you think here? Your alma mater.
Yeah, I do too. I just Iowa hasn't actually like won one of these like games
Nope.
against
They
so, but I agree. And I still the Indiana getting up 15 on Nebraska is still like, you got to trying to split or make sense of my split brain and watching that game, Kai. The getting up 15 and the blowing the lead and some of the kind of questionable, dicey games they've had beyond that as well. Kentucky when they weren't Kentucky, and Kentucky still isn't Kentucky. But anyway, I lean Iowa. Shot making will matter. As I always say, I'll stop being the broken record with Iowa games. The game flow matters. If Iowa can get up early, I think that gives them an edge. If they get behind, I think that's a tougher spot for them. Last point, I think they're out of the whole flu thing. I think Bennett Sturts goes bananas today. I think today it's a Bennett Sturts game.
Yeah, interesting game. Iowa's lost 3 straight, and they really need to start racking up wins. Their KenPom looks good, but Matt mentioned they don't really have a lot of like Q1, Q2 victories. This would definitely qualify. Indiana's lost 2 in a row. High-powered offenses, but Iowa's been really poor offensively in conference play. Turnovers have been an issue. Lack of rebounding has been an issue. Heavy reliance, of course, on Sturts and jump shooting. And this is one of the teams that I don't think punishes Indiana for being small. We're worried about Indiana, right, against Big Ten teams that are huge. It's not Iowa. So I actually lean towards Indiana here, Jim. I think they have plenty ability to guard Iowa and wall up the paint. And again, Iowa's not going to take advantage of their weaknesses. So -3, it's a lean for me for IU.
So it's funny, Kyle. I was nodding at you saying like this isn't the team that's going to beat them up inside. I feel that way the opposite, where like Iowa's biggest games have been against Purdue,
True.
gigantic,
Yeah.
Illinois, gigantic, Michigan State, gigantic, Iowa State,
Yeah,
huge in the
true.
paint. And now they're playing Indiana, a team that isn't going to like just shoot 65% around the rim. And, they competed on the glass with Purdue, only lost 26-23 on the boards there. Slow game. I think Iowa can hang around here and get their first like meaningful road win, truly meaningful win for NCAA tournament picture, unless Ole Miss continues to trend up. I like Iowa there, getting 3. It should be a close game, low scoring game. I really buy the low possession thing with these two former Drake guys going at it. I think there's going to be slow pace, so lean to the under as well.
Fulgaris, can he get out of his little like timeout purgatory thing? Like this is
He started last game, Matthew, or two
did
games ago,
or
and
two
then
games ago. He
Purdue.
only played 14 against Purdue. Hell,
Yeah, that was bizarre. I liked that he played 34 minutes against Illinois, but he also like he needs to shoot the ball. He's very much like I want to pass type of guy. I don't know. We'll see. Brendan Howson's still in the
Colm's tough,
doghouse
man.
there as well.
Him and Hausen, like
Get out of the
what they're thinking
doghouse.
they're gonna get big minutes. It's like, nah, you gotta guard him.
Yep. All right, let's travel west, Matthew, the WCC. Tell me why I shouldn't back St. Mary's at Santa Clara as an underdog here. Santa Clara laying 1.5, total 156, which seems awfully high for a Gales game, but Santa Clara gets up and down. I just have a hard time going against Randy Bennett and the boys here. Santa Clara is solid, but I just think St. Mary's should be favored, Matt. Am I crazy?
No, you're not. And, I'm just this Santa Clara team, they're not as big as they were last year, but they are still big. They're positionally very big. They may not be as big at the rim. You could argue Bucky's maybe a
Bucky.
better
Bucky's a beast.
bruiser at the rim than they had last year in Tilly, for sure, as we've seen kind of at Iowa State this season. I don't know. I think Santa Clara is awesome. My concern with Santa Clara is that they'd be too streaky, but they've been pretty damn consistent as of late. Um, they're just so deep, and my guy Mahi's been terrific. And Darlin's at this point kind of like if he's on, great. If he's not, no big deal. And since Ensminger's been back, they look like a pretty buttoned up team. He's a huge piece, kind of a connector defender. I think the line's about right. I know St. Mary's. Your sentiment feels right. Let's back St. Mary's as a dog, but I did stay away here.
It's worth noting Gales have won 8 straight games in this matchup, and kind of in dominating fashion, except for maybe a couple. And I agree. While St. Mary's is big, their big advantage so far in WCC play, especially, has been the offensive glass. And guess what? You can't exploit that against St. Mary's. They're bigger. They are one of the best defensive rebounding teams year in, year out under Randy Bennett. They suffocate the paint. I think it's going to be a huge problem for Santa Clara. And the Gales need wins too, man. They don't have a lot of Q1, Q2 opportunities past Gonzaga left in the WCC schedule. Their resume is not foolproof. I think they get this one done, Jim. I lean their way as a dog.
Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm adding a seventh best bet here. St. Mary's
Seven
plus
best
one and a
bets.
half.
Wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be my five from the basket review graphic, and I've got two extra. This is one of the extra. I just can't not bet this. When St. Mary's plays a team that excels more in transition, and Randy Bennett can just rub his fingers together and be like, "Oh, I'm going to slow them down, make them play in the half court. Good, let's do it." I think that bodes very well for the Gales. They've got some heft in the paint as well. McKeever's a monster on the glass. He's still not starting, but he's playing the majority of the minutes. He had 18 rebounds last game against San Francisco.
Jim, he's better than our boy Wes. Let's call it what it
He's
is.
better.
Just
He's better than old Harry
better
Wessels, unfortunately. He's not like an offensive threat at all, but he's ginormous and dominates the glass.
He doesn't piss you off offensively like Wessels does when he misses two.
Yeah,
four
Wes
finds.
Wessels is not a layup finisher, unfortunately. So yeah, okay. St. Mary's plus one and a half. I'll throw it in there. Last one on the outline, Kentucky at Tennessee. Kai, the Big Blue Nation snatched victory from the jaws of defeat in the Bayou during the week with the near Christian Laettner type of long court play to Malachi Moreno at the buzzer. Tennessee survived against Texas A&M. Two teams that really aren't playing that well. Do you have a lean here? Tennessee minus 5.5 right now.
Oh, it's down 5.5 again. Okay, got up to 6.5. I did lay 5.5, Jim, with Tennessee.
Six, more six in the market right now. Yeah.
I laid 5.5. I've seen this Kentucky team without Lowe. I've seen them possibly without JQ as well. It's not pretty, and it's not your typical dominant Vol squad, Matthew. They're not nearly as great as they've been the last couple of years under Barnes, but I think they can win this game by 2 possessions. They need to handle the ball. Owe has been a demon defensively. Diabate, of course, very switchy. I just have a hard time seeing how Kentucky scores consistently. The isolation ball is not going to work against Tennessee. They cannot shoot from the outside. And scoring inside, of course, is always difficult against Tennessee. So I laid it minus 5.5 with Tennessee.
I lean your way. I still don't trust Tennessee entirely.
That's fair.
But again, I think it's been a broken record. Like Kentucky, these lines have just been like I think they're just too forward looking. Like they're too anticipatory of what the team could be until we've actually seen consistent evidence. So I think your logic is accurate. I've seen Tennessee on offense too much this season, and man, I just get sick of the reliance on Gillespie, who's awesome. But when it's not in his hands and the shots go elsewhere, it can get a little bit dicey. So.
Yeah, I think I'm going to end up betting the under in this game. It was looking great, Kentucky LSU, and then both teams made some threes in the second half. Kentucky especially had some bad shooters get hot in the second half of that one, got them back in the game there. But I have a hard time seeing how both teams score. I think both Matt and Kai hit on that from both angles. Neither offense is really firing on all cylinders. You got a tough Kentucky offense going against that Tennessee defense. And Kentucky, for all their warts, is actually a really good defensive rebounding team. They're top 30 in the country. They're number 2 in SEC play on the defensive glass, and that's where Tennessee has scored, like number 1 nationally in offensive rebound rate. If you take that away, it becomes just Gillespie and Ament taking jump shots, and I think that's going to be a little bit of a struggle score there too. So I like the under would be my play in that game. All right, Matt, let's get back to Chat Mob Part 2. Remember, folks, join Basket Under Review, the Discord, the website. You get a whole bunch of great, great resources for only $10 a month. College basketball nirvana. Get in there and discuss. All right, Matthew, what do you got for us?
A lot of Hofstra Elon ask today, Kai. I feel like everyone likes Hofstra. I know it's a good spot because they're off the loss and they were sort of the darling. I think Elon's a nice little ball club. I actually lean Elon pretty heavily here. But I feel like that's a fool's errand fading Hofstra at a short number at a good spot. So
I mean, six
nothing
is
official.
pretty substantial. I don't have a
Yeah,
take
it's
here,
not
Matt.
good.
It sounds like you have a stronger take. I agree, Elon.
I like Elon. I just think Elon's good.
They're a nice
A little
little ball
bit
club.
underrated most
They're
of
a nice
the
little ball club.
for most of the year. They run a lot of good off-ball action. I think
Yeah.
that talent's good. I think what's his Billy Taylor is an underrated coach. Jim disagrees. You don't think so,
I
Jim?
know it's the talent. Like, is this roster good on paper? I don't understand how they're like a top 80 offense.
The one dude's
That
awesome.
blows my mind.
He's like what the NAIA All American guy.
But Cuttrell's
He's
coming
good.
from like Purdue Fort Wayne playing 18 minutes a game. Like, I don't know. Now he's the highest usage guy in the entire conference.
Oh, I'm thinking of Carr, who actually hasn't
Yeah,
been because I thought
Carr's
but
a
that's-
UNC Pembroke transfer. Yeah, he's good.
All right, let's go to Seton Hall, Butler, Kai, Shah versus
Good.
Thad.
Yeah, I mean,
Number is, sorry, I'm trying to stall here. -6 Seton Hall, 145 is the number. Starts at 11, so tips in 20 minutes.
6.5 seems a little bit high to me. I respect Seton Hall. I think the way they play, they play so hard. It really is fun to watch. The game against UConn, they're flying everywhere. I mean, that team just works, and it's a typical Holloway team, albeit or ignore last year. I kind of lean towards Butler though. 6. They've lost 4 in a row in Big East play. Maybe they've given up. I didn't take anything officially, but I slightly.
Stink was sick last game. Stink Robinson, they like the point guard situation was all out of whack for Butler, but God, they feel like they are circling the drain right now.
Yep. Same thing as last year. Offense looks disjointed without a steady lead general. How about Buffalo, Miami from the Zang Gang? Tips at 12, Jim. Buffalo +10 off 2 losses against the rolling Redhawks.
I like Buffalo, but
I do too.
do I
I like
want to
Buffalo.
bet against Miami of Ohio right now?
No,
Like
you
they
do
are
not.
just trouncing teams. It's just a joke what they're doing to this conference right now. Undefeated, the mojo is high, vibes are high for the Steel Boys. Who cares that Evan Ipsaro's out? He's just cheering on all their 1.4 points per possession performances. Heavy lean to Buffalo, but I am not getting in front of the Red Hawk freight train.
How about a Sparty, Washington, Kai? At Washington, the Fighting Sprinkles are, I think, giving a field goal to Michigan. Yeah, so it's +3 Washington. Got a little what's his name? Ognisevich.
Ognasevich came back. Yates came
Ognasevich
back.
last
Like
game.
they're much closer to healthy. I don't know
They're
if it
getting
matters.
there. I kind of like the Sprinkles here, Kai, but I
This
don't want to
team
fade
is-
Sparty.
This team is bad. I hate to say.
Oh,
it.
they're okay.
No,
I think
They're
they're
just
kinda
brittle.
bad.
They're just brittle right now.
they're gonna. Michigan State's going to embarrass them on the glass. I think I lean towards Sparty.
Poor Steinbach's
Ah,
going to be a little
Steinbach.
overwhelmed. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Michigan
It's a
State's
test.
just like too solid, and Washington does too many dumb things.
Yeah,
It's
that's
eventually
a
gonna
good summary.
go to-
Yes.
A lot of extras that I've ignored here. How about NOLA versus SFA? I feel like we're always on SFA, but I mean, your one's obviously a good ball club. Who's Southland? Is that you, Kai, or is that you, Jim? -6
I'm usually-
SFA on the road.
I'm usually a Southland boy. I did not have a take in this game though, Matt.
Yeah.
Not in this particular Southland game.
Stephen F. Austin's kind of throttling the league.
Yep. All right, some live questions here. Firemen here, chat. Let's get to them. G-Town +11.5 versus UConn. Jim, Cooley as a dog. Let's see if the Bigs make layups today.
Cooley has a dog.
Yeah. How about Shaka as a dog? That hasn't worked at all either this year. So I'm not going to ride with that trend. This seemed high. Like UConn has not been an unbelievable juggernaut
That's what I'm
in
saying.
league
I don't
play.
think they've been like a crazy dominant either. Yeah.
But yeah, like they let Seton Hall back in, so they didn't cover that game. They did not cover against DePaul. They didn't cover against Providence. I don't think any UConn fan thought they played all that great against Marquette. But I just don't trust Georgetown right now, and they could have a real like deflation after that. Celebrate the win and then actually lose at Creighton. I don't know. Lean Georgetown on the number, but not brave.
Very
enough.
curious what this crowd is like today, attendance-wise, and then UConn versus Hoya fan makeup. I just think if
Yeah,
you're
if-
going to back Georgetown, you got to feel like you have some juice in that building, and I just think that's been an issue the entire. I mean, even before Cooley, but that's been a whole
If
thing.
if UConn gets up like 20-10, does the Hoya crowd just start like booing? Like we are
Right.
sick of this Cooley
That's
era.
upsetting.
Yeah.
Sometimes when it's going bad, the home crowd goes against you. It's actually like you have negative home value. I like UConn first half. They've been a little better, it seems like,
Okay.
first halves, and they've blown
Yeah.
some leads. BYU comes to mind too. Um, Seattle versus Zigzags. Kai, is this a revenge game for Gonzaga? Because I know they won, but they got taken to overtime. Now they go back to
Whew.
Seattle. I don't know if this game's in the tiny
It's
Jack in the
not. It's
Box
that
gym.
climate
It's
pledge, which
climate
is bad
pledge. Good for
news.
Gonzaga, I think.
Yep.
In my opinion. I lean the Zags, Kai. But
Boy,
I know
that's
without
high,
Huff,
yeah.
we'll
Man.
see.
Yeah, without Huff, 14. I don't know. Maybe they're angry. Nothing here because Jim mentioned. I mean, it's not a home game for Seattle at all. It's going to be pretty 50-50 per information we hear on Discord. So
If
nothing
this
there for
was in
me.
the Yeah, if this was in the high school gym Red Hawk Center, I'd like Seattle at this price, but Gonzaga Pro Arena, they're like basically everybody on the roster is familiar with this place. I can't quite take it. Despite God, they like took him to the wire at the kennel. Ugh.
Missouri
Missouri.
against loser State University. Sorry, Matt
That's
McMahon,
true. Good job,
but
Matt.
this is a speaking of circling the drain. A lot of Mizzou money, or sorry, a lot of Mizzou money. Let's say who bet LSU? It's like, oh no one bet LSU. It's a pick. I like Missouri.
Best
Who's
bet for me,
coming to this
Matthew.
game?
Best bet?
What?
Yeah, Jim. Nice.
Best bet, Mizzou. It's
Yeah,
the version right now with Pierce with Stone is actually
yeah.
solid, and as I anticipate, no Dean Thomas for LSU at that team. They also have the same like could be really deflated after we thought we had this big win against Kentucky, and now we've got to come back out against Mizzou. I will take the Tigers here. Pick best bet.
Nice. Nice.
Uh, Doubtful is Thomas, which is what he was last game. I think his designation.
I
Man,
mean,
McMahon's been saying he's day to day
McMahon
for
said
like a
this week
while. I think he
he
could
wasn't
play
even
this week.
cleared for contact.
He had been
You're not
practicing.
day
So
to
if he
day if you're not
plays,
cleared
what's
for
he gonna give?
contact.
Yeah. Okay.
He's been
I'm
doing
gonna
like
add that one
individual
as well.
drill work, so I can't. Yeah, there you go.
Good
Come on
workshop
board.
there,
You can
gang.
get mad at our Tigers again. Yeah,
Kai, Notre Dame versus Virginia Tech. I don't think Notre Dame is very good.
Well,
But this does feel like a
best players
spot where,
out.
well, yeah, I know, but I think there are some, I mean, I'm always a Ewing theory sucker. They have other talent there. They should not be, it should be better. Just my 2 cents. -6.5 Virginia Tech, Kai. What do you think? Is this going to be like a Shrewsbury at Stanford where they go 47-40 in a spot that no one took them seriously? I feel like there's a little Shrews magic in this spot. But
They're definitely feisty. I just it might be the beginning of the end for them. Like they're a little feisty without Burton to start. Like I was actually impressed by they covered pretty easily against like Idaho and Evansville teams, beat Stanford, but I don't know. I think the juice is probably running out there. I'd probably lean towards Virginia Tech, but Va Tech is hard to trust too, man. They've been involved in like crazy game after crazy game. They've won 4 overtime games. They've lost 3 like buzzer beaters. I'd stay away from me.
let's go last one here. Some Bama questions coming in. Bama heading to OU. The official injury report is as follows: no Reitzel, no Burstow, no Hannah. So Bama's actually a little bit healthier relatively, I think, if I'm
yeah. It's
comparing.
they've got 9 guys. Bull Bowen's back. That's like
And Bowen's back, which is
the
huge.
major
So
difference.
Jim, OU, I don't, man, I've trust this team twice and they let me down. I don't know what to think of this team anymore. So I stayed away. I'm kind of questioning my OU prior.
You might be able to count on 2 hands how many stops Oklahoma gets in this game. Like I don't know how their guards keep Filan and Holloway and Amari Allen in front. That's a major issue. I think the Alabama 3-point attack is going to light them up. And Alabama's lost twice at this arena. I looked this up for the weekend watch list basket and review. Remember that the number one team, number one overall seed in the NCAA tournament went there for the SEC Big 12 Challenge and just got curb stomped. I think that's maybe a little on Oates' mind. I just see no way for OU to get stops here. I lean Alabama pretty hard.
Last one came in. Kai, do you have a UCF take? Who are they playing today? They're
Arizona.
fighting Donnie Dawkins. They're hosting. Oh yeah, Arizona, pretty good ball club. 9.5. Is it a KU hype home spot here for the Knights, or is it just Arizona's
The
really
latter.
good? And
The latter.
yeah,
I laid
it's a big number.
I laid
9.5 is a big
9.5.
number.
I know it's big.
Did you?
I
Okay.
laid 9.5. Yeah, because
I don't think.
I have an edge
Go ahead,
towards
Kai.
Arizona, Jim, and when I have a chance to bet Arizona on my number, I'm gonna do it. This team, I'm enthused to finally be on the Wildcats.
Yeah, UCF's been a good rebounding team this year. I don't think they've seen Arizona. I don't think Jermichael Stillwell holds up against Arizona's size quite as well. The one like weird, it's a little bit of an odd spot for Arizona coming off the rivalry game where they got pushed. Now they go all the way across the country to UCF, but last time they went all the way across the country was when they whomped up on Alabama and Birmingham. So I think Arizona is somewhat immune to spots because of their size and their style.
Uh, I'll get our guy Helms loyal listener. He wants to ask about Quinnipiac and Merrimack. Kai, I lean toward the Warriors. Basically, I think it's +1 or +2.
No
If
take.
you
I
want
would
to
have
take
made
on
this
that one.
game a lot higher towards Quinnipiac in the preseason, but Merrimack's been, of course,
They're always, yep.
because their zone tricks everybody. Yeah,
And you would think
nothing for me.
that would come back to that value away against the teams that have seen it, but they've still been good
I don't
so far this
understand
year.
why it's so difficult. I don't. Figure it out.
It is tricky.
It's a zone.
It is tricky, but I know.
When
Attacks
he
the
got
middle.
Zimmerman back 2 games ago, he's been awesome.
Zimmerman's been really good.
Both teams
Yeah.
are off a loss. I don't know. I don't see a lot of like
Uh,
strong narrative for me.
All right, that's all we got, I think. Oh, Syracuse from Matt in Texas. I bet Syracuse. I'll address that because I did bet Syracuse. Money against. If Donnie
look at
Freeman's
you.
playing, Syracuse is a good team.
If he's
And
interested,
they're
if he's
better than
interested-
Boston College.
If Donnie Freeman's interested in playing defense, they're a good team. Yes.
Hey, you don't have to play much defense against Boston College. Boston College's offense is the defense. They play defense for you, which is nice. So,
Yep.
All right, best bets. I'm gonna lead with mine. God, they've just been so horrible this year. I've really taken a good under the microscope examination. As our boss used to say, winning starts with good teams. So I'm taking 3 teams I think are good right now. Taking St. John's -2. Taking your Missouri Tigers, just kind of hit me in the face like I'm gonna bet Missouri.
We're a good team. I like that.
I think you're a good team now. I do. And I'm taking UC Irvine -3. Back from the Hawaii loss, been off for a week. Should have probably won that game, frankly. They're better. Who are they playing? I totally forgot who they're playing.
UC Davis on the road.
UC Davis, who had the flu all week. They gutted out a big win on Thursday. Maybe I should stop chasing flu bets because that screwed me last week against UNLV. But yeah, I think UC Irvine takes care of business against Davis. So that's my 3.
Love it.
I'll go Kai because I've got a little crossover with him. I'm also on Missouri as announced, and I'm also on UC Irvine. I like that bounce back from the Hawaii game. They've had the whole week off. Davis just played on Thursday. Had a sort of a squeaker with Fullerton. I like that Irvine gets the week coming back from the island. So I'm buying the Anteaters as well, -3. So I've given out St. Mary's, Florida, Missouri, Irvine, Yale -10. I didn't think I'd get a lot of Yale off a loss in the Ivy League, but now you've got this explosive offense against the defense, I say in air quotes, of Cornell. They cannot stop anybody. I considered the over here as well, but it's been bet down. That frightened me just enough to not back it. I'll lay 10 with Yale. I think they get a major win against the bad defense. Charleston -3.5. Another sort of buy low, sell high spot here for the spot pairs. Charleston lost at Towson. Stony Brook beat Hofstra. I think Charleston is a much better version of themselves right now, despite that loss at Towson. So I will lay 3.5 on the road there. And then my only total bet of the day, Kai, Eastern Washington and Idaho State out in the Big Sky going under. Let's see, the last I saw was 153. Eastern Washington actually playing a lot slower in league play, which I can kind of see from a Munson team. He's not always a zippity doo up and down the floor. And Idaho State's going to drag you down in the mud. One of the slowest teams offensively in the entire country. I think both are willing participants in half court. So I will take the under there. Number is 153. Yes. All right.
Love it.
That's
Good job,
7.
boys.
7 best.
That's a lot of best bets. I'll stick to one
That is.
per my usual taste.
As you should.
I am surprised you guys aren't on Montana +5.5. Since you guys
thought it was
have,
high.
you
I
guys
agree.
have
I thought it
ragged
was
on
high.
Montana State. You love Montana. Anyway,
I
I
do
like
love
Montana
Montana.
State.
so
I
that
like
bothers
Montana
me.
State.
I'm not
the-
on as a best bet, Kai. I do have American dollars on it.
The Grizz since 2012 are 22-5 against Montana State. They've won 4 of the last 5 as well. Defense is the best in the conference so far. I think this shows up in the rivalry, and of course they have the best player on the floor in Money Williams. +5.5 Montana Grizz.
Yeah,
Best
I
bet.
made it 3.5. I think it's high. I do have Montana State rated very highly, and maybe I overreacted.
Well, I'm just going off your words, buddy. You said the podcast.
The Brawl, the
Bad.
Wild.
Is that what it's called?
For all the wild.
Yeah, who won the football one? Maybe is there a revenge angle for the other team?
Well, Montana
State won the
State just
football
won
one.
the title, so
They won the whole thing.
Is that the
So,
game we
yeah,
were
there you go.
watching,
Montana
Matt?
revenge. I love that guy. Perfect.
Yeah, Matt, we were watching that at your place where it was like a
Oh yeah,
40-point swing in the FCS
400
semis.
rushing yards in about 2 minutes.
Yep. Yep. All right. I like it, Kai. Montana Grizz. Okay. We will get those posted into the Discord spreadsheet. So for folks that are members of Basket Review, you can find those there. Whole lot of ball games today, nearly 150. There's some NFL action too. I'll be at a local dive townie bar here in Chautauqua, Wisconsin. So I am excited to tune in and be tracking some of the scores on my phone as well. Thank you, everybody, for checking in with us here on Saturday morning. Best Bet Show with the Weave. Remember, join Basket and Review. Spin your spinny hats if you got them. I sadly forgot. But